So today we're going to take a look at the Guard versus Disguised on Bind, a really good game I thought of Bind, and there's some really good moments and also some little things of why lineups are good, and not just post-plant lineups or anything like that, but just lineups in general, and why if you want to master an agent and get really good at one agent, it's gonna really help to know some good lineups, assuming your agent has things to line up. But let's start here with round number 6. Disguised are on the attack, and the Guard are on the defense. And this is gonna be a very quick round, but it's gonna be a really good round. Because what's gonna happen is Disguised are gonna come up through short here with the Viper wall up just there, and we've got our Sage here. Who's playing Sage? Ziff. Ziff is playing Sage, and he is going to send a Sage slow that's going to come all the way back here. You're going to see it. We're then going to jump on this box, Razult with that Sage slow, and even though the Razult isn't going to get us a kill, I think we slightly miss a flash, but it's going to be really good. So in they start to come, right? In comes Clear here. He's run with a first flash down here. In he comes, ult popped, off he goes. As you can see just there, we actually get the smokes in on the site down here. You can see this is actually the Guards kind of defensive Viper Orb just there. And they're actually popping the Seekers as well. But what you're going to see is we're going to get Clear coming all the way down there. Okay, he pops his Razor. Ideally, he wouldn't be blinded here, and ideally, I think the idea is someone gets caught in potentially the Sage slow and he sees them and kills them instead. But you're going to see that Jonah obviously hears Clear, land there, and decides, oh, I'm going to come and swing him, right? This should hopefully be, an easy fight to win. But there's a Sage slow here, right? And this is something that I just think we see it quite often on Bind, and you'll see it in some of the other rounds as well that we're going to show. Is this kind of like, Fnatic kind of, I think, made this very popular, when they started doing these Viper mollies that, come literally across the map onto the B site. That kind of made it very popular on this map. I think, honestly, we should see more of this on multiple maps, right? Like, if you're playing Viper on Pearl, you don't really see, like, a cross-map lineup that lands, like, in Dugout or something, or, behind the box on A. Maybe you don't need to, but, just things like this. I think this was just a really good game for showcasing some of this stuff because it found a lot of success, as it will here, because Jonah's going to swing around this corner and Clear, because of this Sage slow, has the time to be unblinded, turn around, and get the kill. Right, then what we're going to see here is Steel winning a crucial fight here. This is honestly probably the round. We actually get a Brim ult in here as well to try and stop these rest of these players. Probably just a tad bit slow, as I don't think it's going to make the biggest difference in this round. But this one-on-one really is kind of, after this first kill, this is kind of the round right here. Steel winning this because, as the distraction is kind of coming on there and Trent's looking this way, obviously there's two people here, so the Guard do the right thing, and one person looks one way and one person looks the other. But Steel is going to manage to win this fight against Net here, and this is really going to really kind of seal the round, to be honest, because now Trent is just in a world of trouble. Right, where do you go if you're Trent now? You've got pressure coming from here. I mean, you don't even know where this raise is. Could come this way on you. You've got people coming from there. Like, you're just in a world of trouble. And so he probably makes the correct choice in trying to turn around and fight Steel instead, because, they've only seen one person here. So that's what he's going to try and do, but Steel, it's very difficult for Trent to really, find the right place to be. He's probably panicking at this point. It's a very difficult situation. And so Steel swings around this corner, gets that kill as well, and, the call for a save comes in. And this is kind of how it started for, this game, really. Disguised, they were hitting this A site a lot. It's very interesting to me that we got mirror kind of old school Ascend comps with the Sage coming back in for both teams, so that was quite interesting. But they actually used it in very different ways. I think Disguised kind of used what I would call the more traditional way of like this round here, where we see a lot of A hits, a lot of coming down short, using the Viper setups into a Sage wall here, play post plant, very tricky to beat. They did a lot of that, but as we'll see, the Guard really, found a lot of success going B instead, which I found interesting. But yeah, nice to see the old Ascend stuff coming back. This comp they dominated on this map for so long with, and yeah, it's just nice to see it back and doing pretty well as we say farewell to Bind. Now let's come to the very next round, which kind of turns into a really bizarre round, and you'll see what I mean, because what we're going to start off with is, as you can see here, we've got Clear on Raze. He's going to put the satchel here. He's going to go for fast showers. This is something that Optic did a lot, where you go for these double ray satchels very early on. There he goes. You know, you send in this flash just there. He turns the flash, comes around this corner, and he's going to manage to kill Net just there and manage to get away as well. Really, really good stuff. But this round is about to get chaotic because the guard decided to very, very fast come on this flank. As you can see just here. Obviously, with this Sage comp, you are losing any kind of, you know, chamber trap or anything like that to put in here. So, you know, this flanking does become, you know, more kind of doable, you would say. And so now you could see that Disguised here, you know, they get a bit worried about it. They send a Sky Flash in just here, and they're about to, you know, find out with the Seekers here that, yes, indeed, there are people there. But they managed to get that kill. And at this point, you think, well, it's a 5v3. You know, they should just be good. But I think there's like a bit of confusion about what exactly they should do, right? Because they kind of have the shower control, but there's a Sage wall there. So that's going to delay them really getting out of showers and in onto the site if they wanted to do that. So, you know, they kind of want to come this way, and they don't really want to do this because that seems a bit chaotic, and like that would be like you don't know where this guy's gonna be or if there's someone else there as well, right? It's a bit chaotic. You're a bit like taking a bit of a gamble maybe, so you don't really want to do that either, and you kind of end up in just this really weird space where they just kind of get, even though they're in a 5v3, they kind of get penned in. It's kind of weird. And you'll see that Ziff here, he's gonna like put up to do a Sage wall, and eventually he will do this Sage wall, which again, it's kind of weird to Sage wall that off, right? Like, and you see they're worried about behind, they don't really know what's going on, and you know, as they start to try and come into the site, Trent's there now, and you know, it's like they lost track of these players a bit. We even get a res, then we get this Razor coming in as well, and just constantly here, you know, Jonah P is just this massive looming threat that at any point he's going to come around this corner or come from behind even and, you know, just get a free kill. So, you know, you've got a Sage slow in here as well, and back he comes. And yeah, it's just a very, very odd round. And eventually what's going to happen is Steel has tried to kind of, you know, be like, okay, the Sage wall's gone, let's actually get onto the site now. But he's now died there, like peeking into the smoke as well. So we end up now in a 4v3. And, you know, as finally Disguised, you know, coming onto this site, and they've put this Sage wall up here. They did eventually do it to block off Jonah P. They're going to start getting the spike down, but you're going to see that the guard do pretty well here in these fights, right? We're going to get some confusion, I think, from Disguised here of where exactly everyone is. You're going to see that Gangster maybe, you know, doesn't quite realize how far Tex is actually out, and we end up in a 1v1. But this is where we're going to see the really cool stuff, this right here, because take a look at where Exalt is, okay? He's here. He's going to send a Sky Flash all the way through here and control it and send it out there. In the heat of the moment, in a 1v1 where everything's panicking, you've just got 2 kills, he's going to send out that Sky Flash. Insane. Just insane. Just absolutely insane to do this. You know, the control, insane. And then to swing around on the other side. Filth. Absolute filth from Exalt, and he manages to get the kill, wins the round for Disguised. Super weird round, but what a cool way for it to end. Speaking of absolute filth, let's come over to the other side where the guard are on the attack now, and take a look at this. Again, we're getting these Sage slow lineups just here. Away goes this one. We're going to get a Viper Molly lineup as well, as you will see. This is just pure filth. So it's Sage slow and a Viper Molly just go in there. We're going to get this Boombot. As if he's going to put up this wall, right? Everything's fine. Take a look at this. Look at how much trouble he's in. Brimult comes in as well just here. And so he's going to get Brimulted. He's got 3 people knocking on the door over there with a Boombot coming at him. Or he can decide to run back. But he runs into a Sage Slow with a Viper Molly into a Brimult. Filth. Absolute filth. Amazing from the guard. They come and take the A site. They're going to come in and manage to get the spike down. Disguise go for a fast flank themselves now. You know, coming from the B site. But you're going to see as the spike comes down just here, we've got our Stinger. We'll talk about that in a second. But what's going to happen is Trent is actually going to see... Trent's actually going to see clear first here, just there. They battle a bit, and I think Trent gets hit. But then we're going to get a kill here from Net on Gangster. I cannot tell you how many Stinger kills there were in the games yesterday. It was a lot, like a lot. There was a lot of forcing as well. You know, it seems like teams kind of agree with me. Forcing when you plant the spike on attack side. We saw that quite often as well yesterday, so looks like that's going to happen more often. But yeah, we get those kills. Tex swings around here on clear coming from the other way. Nice, we end up in a 5v2, and ultimately this is just going to be a save from Disguised in the end here for the remaining 2 players. But yeah, just, I mean, you saw that first like lineup stuff. Like that's just filthy. That just shouldn't be legal. That's Valorant played at its best, to be honest. And it was really really nice. And yeah, we saw some moments from both teams where they did that. Steel managed to get that kill, and Jonah's actually going to die to the spike here, I think, in time just there. And yeah, the guard would go on, and Jonas kneels by the spike. But yeah, a really really nice round by the guard. But now let's quickly finish with round number 22. And I'm just going to explain something here about when a team is on 12 rounds, how some of the logic changes. Because what's going to happen, as you can see, we got a Sky Flash down here, we got the Slow Orb there, and Steel's going to put up his Viper Orb just here as well. And he's going to go for this Ult Orb here just outside of B, because he's one off his ult, and he wants his ult, right? But this is something that I think, again, it's a very, very small, minute detail, but, it can make a difference. And perhaps it did make a difference in this game, because obviously Steel's going to die here, by the way. So it's going to look like big Captain Hindsight is coming in here, right? With the kind of like, oh yeah, shouldn't have gone for that ult orb, you died, ha ha ha. But no, let me explain why, in kind of like a game theory sort of sense, going for this ult orb doesn't really make that much sense. Because the only way that this game continues, right, is if the guard lose all 3 rounds in a row. That's the only, as soon as the guard win a round, game over, right? So that's the only thing that can matter. And the thing is, Steel with this ult here, he probably, almost certainly, isn't going to get a second ult after that in the 2 rounds that remain, right? Things would have to go incredibly for Steel to have to get another ult by the end of kind of regulation, right? So that's really unlikely to happen, but it is extremely likely that by the start of round 24, he's got a kill or he's died once, but, the Skies win the round. That is extremely likely to happen. So my point is, he's almost guaranteed to have one ult in these last 3 rounds. But the thing is, we need to win all 3 of those rounds either way. And the guards and where their economy is, they're gonna probably have enough to buy in, these rounds anyway. So the point is that getting this ult on round 22 versus, round 23 or 24 doesn't really make a difference to us, because we have to win all 3 rounds. There is no other way this flowchart can go, and so using it in any of the 3 rounds is somewhat equal. Now, obviously, there is like small, little, tiny little things where you say, well, it does deny the ult orb for the guard, which could make a tiny bit of a difference. And that's true, and, things like that do exist. But overall, it's just kind of that thinking of when a team is on 12, and let's say you're, 3 or plus rounds away from that, so either 12-9 or less, things do change a bit in terms of how you should manage your economy, how you should manage your ult economy as well, because there's only one flowchart that matters, right? There's only one way that this can go, that even any of it matters. We have to win all of these rounds. And so as we run this round forward, you're going to see, yes, Steel does ultimately die there trying to get that ult orb. And, we're going to see that the guard are going to manage to win the game. They come up here, they send in this Skydog, and we're going to get the raise here. Trent, he's going to swing around this corner as the Skydog starts to clear stuff. We do get the very fast TP, and he gets traded out. We end up in a 4v3, but Net is going to... This is really the crucial kill in the half, because he's going to just lurk up towards A here, having heard 2 people go through the teleporter. And this kill on Ziff here really is kind of the half. If not, it would have been a 3v3 retake on B, possible. But now that it's a 4v2, they plan for CT, where they both are. Very, very, very tough for this guys to win this, and they actually give it a pretty good go, to be honest. They send in that smoke there. Clear does manage to get that kill in the ults, but ultimately, that Raze ult, I don't know, it seems to get some kills, but then not others, and there you go. The guard do manage to win the game, and yeah, they looked very good. I think both teams look good on this map, to be honest. We saw some really nice stuff, as you saw in the clips, from both teams, but I think the guard, obviously, having 4 of their players having played together for such a long time, it is going to make it a lot easier for them to just, understand what's going on and how Valorant wants to call and all that kind of stuff. They're going to be on the same page a bit more probably than these other teams are right now. And so, yeah, the guard, that's why I think they are, most people's favorites to do pretty well.